Hey everybody, and welcome back. I'm Fox with FoxeoGames, and this is Fox Plays Dark Souls Remastered the Manosphere Episode 2. So, when last we left off, we grabbed the Partisan, upgraded it to +3, and picked up the Wolf Ring. I think it'd be a great time to farm some Titanite shards. Oh, you heard the bell. Congratulations to whoever defeated the gargoyles here. To pick up some, to get 2 shards, we can get one from this guy up here, and I think, is there another one that drops from somewhere up here? We'll turn in the Firekeeper's Soul from the altar. We'll upgrade this to +5, and then we'll go tackle Havel's so we can get Havel's Ring. Although we may not end up using it as one of our long-term rings, because I may want to change things up. I really want to grab that summon sign. The only problem is we are not ready, so I don't think he'll appreciate me calling him in here and then not really doing much with it, so, you know. He can do a double slam or a double attack, so just be ready for those if he does them. Oh. Killed him with a 3-point hit. How about that? Not bad, huh? Titanite Shard. I think you should have 2 Titanite Shards for killing him, but that's just me. And not everyone agrees with me, right? You know, before we head up there, let's tackle the channeler up there and get oh, shoot, shoot, shoot. No, I did not mean to turn my back to him. I was supposed to be locked on, but for some reason, golly, go backwards. My character was stuck facing the wrong direction. There we go. Okay. We don't even have a shield selected at the moment, do we? So we're 100% dedicated to this no shield thing, aren't we? Oh, got that guy right before he slammed me with an attack. He's going to be able to shoot me. So we're going to draw these guys back so that we don't get hit. Oh my goodness, what is going on? Seriously, why do the controls randomly just fuck up and stop working? I'm like hitting the button and nothing's happening. And then it happens later. The same input lag bug from the original Dark Souls on Xbox 360 or PS3. It's still an issue. You know, 8 years later in the remastered version on PC. No excuse for that. None whatsoever. No excuses, FromSoft. And no excuses to the company that did the remaster, although they may have worked under certain limited conditions. I don't know. So, required reading, if you really want to get the most out of this playthrough, it's going to be the Rational Mail by Rollo Tomasi. It's called The Rational Mail. 3 words, guys. The Rational Mail. I don't agree with everything in the book. I don't think it should be viewed like some new Bible, like some people tend to treat it. But I think it is more than worth the time to read. And it should be read multiple times just to make sure you're getting all the content out of it. You know, interestingly enough, this spear really isn't doing as much damage as I thought it would, given that I'm at +3. So, a bit disappointing, but we'll keep going with this. I really want to kill that channeler, but it's going to be hard to do that with all these guys out here. Oh, run out of stamina here, so. And why it would lock onto something down beneath me that's farther away than the 2 enemies in front of me. Welcome to Dark Souls. Oh, frame rate. The frame rate is dipping really bad. What in the world? I just tried to put up a shield that I don't have, guys. There we go. Okay. So let's grab whatever items are up here, so we won't have to worry about that next time we come up. And free law trick. Today's drink is hot honey cinnamon tea. I use real, organic, unfiltered raw honey. And then I use this kind of natural Ceylon cinnamon. Oh, that's our last well, no, not our last Titanite shard that we need. We need 2 more upgrades, not 2 more Titanite shards. We need some more Titanite, obviously. I think we're going to need 5 in total, and we have, what, 2 right now, maybe? Lautrec time. Basically, I make a hot black tea. Standard Lipton tea bag, nothing special there. And then add some Ceylon cinnamon powdered. And then throw in there about a tablespoon of organic, unfiltered, raw honey. This is the stuff you have to spoon out of there. You could turn the honey container upside down with the lid off and it wouldn't come out. It's thick, T-H-I-C-C. Like those women that you guys like nowadays. So if you guys have read that book, a lot of this content will be refresher or reminders or mulling over that. The Rational Male book, that is. Oh, let's open this shortcut up. Go down there and give them the Firekeeper's Soul. Give her, rather. So one of the things you want to avoid doing is self-deprecation. Self-deprecation has become very standard, very normal among men nowadays. But once you learn not to do it, once you learn how bad it is and why it's bad, you will be bothered every time you see a man do it in a way you've never been bothered before. You will realize what's really going on, and it'll open your eyes. The Rational Male is one of those books where once you've read it, it cannot be unread. Once you've learned what it teaches in there, whether you agree or not, you're going to see a lot of stuff you can no longer ignore. You will now see stuff, you will know stuff, and the world won't ever quite look the same. And I think you really should just read it in his own words. He can probably do a better job than me going over all the details. Oh, here I am forgetting to give him the Firekeeper's Soul. Give her. Self-deprecation. Perfect example of this is actually something I came up with. Oh, that tea's good. On my own before I read his book. So it's really interesting to read his book and see him giving the same example that I used to give. But I used to tell guys, like, it would bother me that men, especially in church, I hear this in church a lot. When men go up in church to give some sort of testimonial, it's always this thing about, oh, my wife is just so amazing. I can't believe she would be with a man like me. I don't know what she sees in me, and I'm so lucky to have her. That is just one of the many forms of self-deprecation. God, this kick is... The controls on this kick are such shit. Golly, they're such shit. They've always been shit. The kick controls in this game have always been utter shit. You'd think like they'd come up with some better way to control that. Alright. Let's continue. By the way, I do that because it's easier than killing him. He's actually quite a tough fight. I mean, I'm sure I could handle it, but it's not worth it. It's easier to do this, even with the kick controls being utter garbage. So, since we don't have anything else at the moment, we'll just throw that on. And with that, can we equip the shield? Yes, we can. Awesome. What about the manchette? Yes. What about the Wanderer hood? Yes. Okay. We've got quite a lot of... You know what? I don't know why I thought I could warp. Doesn't work that way. Let's go to the Undead Parish and upgrade this partisan as much as we can. I think we should be able to top it off. And that'll have us sitting pretty with a +5 partisan just prior to our gargoyle fight. I try to get +5 before the gargoyles. There are many other kinds of self-deprecation. There's always the, I can't believe she would date a guy like me. I'm just so lucky to have her. And the other kind of self-deprecation is slightly different. And that's the, she's out of my league self-deprecation. The, oh, I could never get a girl like her. And that is self-deprecation because you are putting yourself beneath this woman. Now, granted, this does not mean that you think that being a complete slob with no job, you can get any woman you want. No, you can't. Yes, that women have standards, okay? Just like, if you're a guy who's got his stuff together, if you know what you're doing, you got a good job, you look good, you've been working out, you're not going to date some fat, overweight, jobless woman just because she thinks she's special. You're just not. It does not matter how good of a job she does being self-confident. It doesn't matter how good of a conversationalist she is. It doesn't matter how friendly and nice she is. It doesn't matter how well she dresses. If she's overweight, if she doesn't look good, I mean, a guy who looks good, who's in shape, who's got his stuff together, isn't going to go for that. He's going to wait, and he's going to find a woman more along his level. And we instinctually or instinctively do this. It's called the sexual market value. You look at other people. If you're a man, you're looking at other women. You're evaluating where they are on the scale. We typically think of the scale being like a 1 to 10. 1 being the worst. 1 being like, oh, this chick looks awful. I mean, she's really fat, overweight, terrible. Looks like somebody hit her with the ugly stick twice in the face, kind of thing. Let's do dexterity for more damage. How's that sound? And based on that, you're going to pass over a 1 if you're an 8. Let's say you kind of evaluate yourself. And whether you think of it exactly in these terms or not, you kind of place yourself in what might be considered an 8. If someone were to force you to give yourself a number, you say, you know, I think I'm an 8. Most guys, even if they're a 10, would never rate themselves a 10. Most 10s, if really pressed and if really self-confident, would rate themselves a 9. Because nobody wants to be the person that says, yeah, I'm a 10. You know, I mean, and 2, you always have that little bit of self-doubt. You're always going to have that. It's normal. So let's say you rate yourself an 8, and maybe you are an 8, maybe you're actually a 9, maybe you're a 7. It's better to think that you're an 8 and be a 7 than be a 7 and think that you're a 6 or a 5. If you have to, rate yourself a little higher in your own personal scale, because that'll come off as more attractive. You got to know how to be confident and just a little bit cocky, but not so much so that you're annoying or come off as arrogant. It's a delicate balance, for sure. And there's no simple mathematical formula. I can't spell it out for you in super simple terms that would make it clear in every context. But there are definitely certain things you can do to be more arrogant and less arrogant. Like, one thing you shouldn't do is don't pretend to know stuff you don't. Now, that doesn't mean you can't fake it till you make it, so to speak. Just being self-confident. But don't, if let's say you're a car guy, and you're talking about that with other guys, and the girl's there watching. This girl that you're interested in is there with you. And one of the guys asks you a question about cars, but you don't know the answer. Guys, don't pretend to know it because you're the car guy and you're supposed to know, and you don't want to be caught not knowing. Just say you don't know. Be like, you know what? I'm not sure about that. Or say, I never thought about that. Good question. Because you will appear arrogant. I have a friend. He likes to think he knows everything. And he will lie if he doesn't know it. He'll pretend he knows it, and he'll just give an answer, even if it's wrong. And then he'll go back and try to, like, explain why he gave the wrong answer. Like, well, you know, he'll come up with some excuse that makes it seem like he didn't lie or he wasn't being dishonest. Don't be that. But the other thing, you don't want to be, on the reverse side, is you don't want to be that guy that goes around talking about, well, I don't really know anything. I don't know. I'm terrible at everything. I can't spell, and I'm just horrible at reading, and I'm awful at this, and I don't know anything about anything. And don't be that guy. Don't be the guy who doesn't know anything about anything, who has zero confidence in himself, because it's very unattractive. You will not be attractive to women, and you won't be attractive to men as a prospective friend or colleague or coworker or co-owner of a business, you know, partner and whatever. So obviously my whole angle here in the Manosphere, guys, is men seeking women when it comes to relationships, not men seeking men, not women seeking men. So if you're a woman watching this, I don't know why you would. It's like my viewership is near 100% men every time I look at it. So that's what I kind of gear everything towards. One of the other things and we're about to get into the boss fight, which is going to distract me, but one of the other things you should not do, and this kind of steps on some toes, especially in the religious sector, you shouldn't wait. You shouldn't be forced to wait to have sex. If a woman's making you wait, there's something else going on, and you should be concerned about what that something else is. And there are reasons that a woman might make you wait, but there are a lot of reasons why you should not wait. Okay, here we go. Yeah, this partisan is not doing as much damage as I'd hoped it would. And it's interesting that the second gargoyle comes with his tail already broken. Oh, wow. That one's still alive over there? What are they doing? There we go. Boy, I sure carried those two summons. They didn't carry me. Dang. I got everything but the gargoyle halberd in one shot, guys. I got the shield, the helm, and the gargoyle tail axe. Of course, the tail axe is a guaranteed drop if you cut the tail off. I'm used to an episode ending at this point. Obviously not here. We're only 16 minutes in. I made that honey cinnamon tea really well. I would not make it with regular honey. Regular honey is highly processed and filtered. I don't know if processed is filtered. They often heat treat it and pasteurize and do this and do that. So by the time you get it, it has very little nutrient value left. It's just got its most basic nutrient value. And because it's so high in sugar, obviously, or sugar content, not refined sugar, but it is a type of sugar in a way, although it's a whole food, honey is. You really don't want processed filtered honey. You want the honey with all the pollen in it. You want all the nutrients, the phytonutrients, all that stuff. By far, that's what you want. I don't think he gives us anything we need. Although, just in case we get cursed, it'll be good to have that. If you need a ring of sacrifice, you can get one from the Firelink Shrine. You just gotta make that hop to the support structure underneath the bridge leading up to the sewers. Oh, let's just do this. All right. Only thing about using the more natural cinnamon, the Ceylon cinnamon. Oh, it does not mix very well. It likes to float to the top or sink to the bottom. It's not the best for mixing. Got to be a better way to mix that. All right, so we're maxed out on the partisan for now until we get the large ember. We can get some benefit from strength, so that is good. Good, I like that. Let's put points into dexterity. That definitely boosts the attack more than the other options. I'm thinking it'd be nice to wear some elite knight armor. I just don't know if I can get away with what I want without... Yeah. Let's take this and see if I can get away with the whole set medium rolling. And then... Yeah. That's cool. Let's go get Havel. What about this shield? This might be a fat roll. Yeah. Yep, that's what I thought. So, the leather shield, we're at the limits of what the medium roll will allow. Wouldn't be a bad idea to buy more Titanite shards, but I didn't yet. Okay, so don't wait for the sex. You know... Let me just say this. Before I married my wife, we were together for 6-ish, 7-ish years, maybe. That includes dating, courtship, whatever you want to call it, engagement period. When it was all done, when we sat there in front of the altar getting married, we had not yet had sex. And I was kind of proud of that at the time. I thought that was a good thing. I thought, you know, I'm bucking the standard. I'm going against the grain. I'm being more traditional and having values. And in the end, guys, boy, did that end up hurting me. I am not going into details, but, you know, just out of respect for all the parties involved. But you do not want to marry a woman and find out after you marry her that you two are just totally incompatible sexually. And this, you think, well, what do you mean? You can work on it. That's something you can work on. That's a modern kind of Hallmark Disney myth. I like to call that the myth of the marriage counseling. Marriage counseling doesn't work, guys. It never has. It never will. Counseling just doesn't work because when you're not getting along with somebody, more communication doesn't fix it. You probably need less communication, and the man needs to do more and be more. But in the end, just talking it out, communicating all this stuff, it's not going to work. You know, if you think about it, if you marry a woman, let's say you marry a woman, you go in there thinking, oh, wow, yeah, we're going to do all this fun stuff, and we're going to explore each other and blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to get into too many details, but what if you go in there finding out that she's not really interested in any of that? She wants to do the bare minimum. She just, for whatever reason, doesn't find you all that exciting. And she basically wants to have sex at most once a week and in a very plain, boring way, and you're totally unsatisfied with that, and it becomes a big issue in your relationship. You should probably find that out sooner rather than later. I'm just saying you don't want to be married to that. You don't want to be married to the prude. Or you don't want to find out that although she likes you in terms of a provisioning long-term male to take care of her and work and possibly be a father, maybe she doesn't find you sexually exciting. Maybe she doesn't find you all that interesting as a man for her. And of course, none of this is Disney. None of this is Hallmark. None of this is the fairy tale. It's real. It's realistic because this stuff happens. Believe me, it happens. So I know all too well that this can happen. I saw it in my own life, and I saw it in the lives of friends, and I see it at work. My job allows me to see a lot of people at their worst in relationships where things are falling apart. And I get to see people and what they say and what they do and how they act. And it's a harsh reality for especially a lot of guys. Women move beyond guys. They move past a guy much faster than many guys move past a woman. Granted, if, a woman is dedicated to a relationship, she's still in it. She hasn't seen anything that compels her to want to be out yet. And he finds another woman, then, yeah, he's going to be out sooner than she is. But women tend to get tired of relationships much sooner than men. So that's something to be aware of. You like that? Oh, I should have hit that other one. There we go. That is an excellent move. Really is. I like the partisan for that, among other things. Uh-oh. Here comes the fire. Let's hide. Okay. Now we're going to run over to here. Woo! Cutting it close. So, on to the self-deprecation. Back to the previous topic, ladies and gentlemen. Well, gentlemen. 0 ladies, last I checked, but the ladies may not. Oh, my goodness. He tricked me. He tricked me. Let's try that again. I think I stepped out right as he was coming down, and he blasted me with fire on his way down. I didn't know he did that. Interesting AI. Okay. I tried to fight him before on level ground there, but he fights so unfair. He really does. There's nothing fair about the way he fights, trust me. Wait, he didn't leave yet? What the heck? I've never seen him go, after hitting the tail, I've never seen him go back to the bridge. That's weird. That's 2 very unique AI moves in one playthrough. So about the self-deprecation, you don't want to get into that. Your woman will figure out what you're not good at. She'll figure out what some of your flaws and problems are. You don't need to point them out to her. And you don't need to lower yourself. It's just not a good look. It's not a good look. Don't do it. I almost went that way thinking that was Havel. It's not. That's the depths. Which we do want to go there sooner rather than later, so that as soon as we get a large Titanite shard, we can upgrade our partisan to +6. Then, if we can get it to +6 before we head down to Blighttown, that would be great, because then then we can just use the repair box and don't need to worry about visiting the blacksmith. That's usually something I end up having to do. I have to go down there to get my first large Titanite shard and then come all the way back up from Blighttown to get to Andre of Story to upgrade to +6 and then go back down. Get the rest of the Titanite shard, large Titanite shards, and finish up that way. I don't know if it's a good idea to use this or not, but why not? Heck, we'll do it. Here, let's see if he... You know what? I thought he usually jumped down. What the heck? Oh, I'm glad I saw him before it was too late and he screwed everything up. That guy could have ruined everything. The nice thing about having a spear on him is you've got a little more range than he does. Just be careful to watch your stamina, because you don't want to be out of stamina and not be able to dodge. I think this armor should give me... The armor with my health should give me just enough to withstand at least one hit. What you don't want to be is in this... Oh, okay. Well, no. Not one hit. But the good news is we'll be able to kill him rather quickly with backstabs. We're going to go back to the old backstab method, guys. Did I sit at that bonfire? Yes. Okay, good. Good. It's always interesting that no matter what kills an enemy in the game, you get credit for it. If the enemy dies, you get credit for it. Souls, that is. Fire. Woo! Can you feel the burn? So, when you're out and about, when you're with your friends, when you're with your girl, be confident in yourself, not overly so. Know what you can and can't do. Know what you do and do not know. And don't worry about the rest. Figure stuff out. If you need to learn something, learn something. Don't pretend to know what you don't know, because people see through that eventually. And do not self-deprecate. Don't talk poorly about yourself. Now, there is an exception. I think it's okay occasionally to jokingly laugh at yourself if you do something stupid. But as a general rule, I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm such a klutz, or oh, I'm such an idiot. Why do I do that? Or, you know, something of that sort. It's just not going to come off very well at all to anybody, much less to a woman that you're interested in or currently with. Other thing, too, I think it's important to keep in mind is that you're with a woman, right? That does not mean that you can relax in, quote, just be yourself. JBY is what we call that, the acronym. JBY. Don't just be yourself. Instead of just be yourself, what I recommend is be the best version of yourself that you can be, one that you're happy with, that you feel satisfied with. So if you're being yourself and you're not quite happy with it, and you know you're not quite happy with it, change. We've talked about this before, but it bears repeating. The biggest opponents to you improving yourself in your life are generally going to be, other than yourself, but you can overcome yourself. The biggest opponents are generally going to be your family and your friends. And if you're with a girl, it will be her too. Why would a girl resist you improving yourself? Because it's a threat to what they know. People like to think that they know you. Your family wants to believe that they know you. You know, your girl wants to believe that she knows you. Nobody wants to think that they don't know you. And nobody wants to get left behind where you're improving yourself and they're not. One thing my girlfriend talked about, and I told her about this before she even told me. I said, I bet, you know, she quit smoking at one point. I said, I bet when you quit smoking, you lost some friends. Or at least people she thought were friends. And sure enough, yes. Oftentimes, let's say you have a problem with drinking. So you give up drinking. People notice that when they give up drinking or give up smoking, some people fade out of their life. Some people, even people that are trying to quit smoking, will be the biggest opponent to you quitting smoking, because they don't want to see you succeed while they continue to exist in a state of failure, because failure for them would be, of course, oh shoot. Failure to them would be continuing to smoke. So the other thing too is, oftentimes it's not that someone's trying to keep you down, it's that they're just trying to keep you the way that they knew you. They're not necessarily comfortable with change, and you're changing. So if you change more than they expect, we're going to get rid of the ring in favor of protection. As we discussed, I don't want that. I don't want to be reliant on that ring. Okay, so we can't quite... Oh my goodness, we still can't fast roll. Alright, well... We'll switch this out for the Wanderer coat. Okay, what about this? Okay, there we go. And if I can equip that, great. If not, I won't. Yep. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Do I need anything down there? No. I don't think so. Grasscrest Shield would be nice. Let's go get it. I said it. Let's get it. My tea is getting warm. It's not as hot as it once was, but that's life, you know. Gravelorded again. It's like people are following me around. I should, for one of my playthroughs, orchestrate it in such a way where you guys can be available for the summons and all that. I might actually post live on Twitter where I'm at and what I'm doing, so you know what's going on. And then, of course, post in advance and let you know when it's going to happen. So if I let everyone know when it's going to happen in advance so that they can be ready for it, that would be good. Please don't slam me. Okay. Oh, I meant to parry him. Oh my gosh, that was a partial parry, otherwise I would have died. Should I get rid of him, or should I not worry about him? The Black Knight. He's the guy she tells you not to worry about. There we go. A lot of failed parries there, and very little damage. I'm actually getting a bit disappointed. This partisan is not doing the type of damage I had hoped it would. I would have died had I not dodged that very, very deftly. Okay, not sure why that didn't hit me. That worked to my advantage, so I won't complain about it too much. There we go. Not bad. And at this rate, I think we will grab this bow, because a bow can always be of value, even if you don't have the skills to use it or the stats to use it, because at least you can use it to get the attention of an enemy, if nothing else. So, I've forgotten exactly what topic we were on, but self-deprecation. It's as simple as, don't do it. If you see a guy doing it, tell him to stop. And you know, you can give him the reasons for it. You may think that, oh, hang on now. Oh yes, this is what I always look for. If I can get one of these little lizard bastards to drop a large Titanite shard, that is exactly what I want. We now do not have to go to Blighttown first, or rather, we don't have to come back from Blighttown to go to Andre Vestor. Perfect. We can have a +6 partisan ready to go with the repair box, or with the weaponsmith box on hand. Great. That's great. That's just great. In a real way, not the sarcastic way. Okay, so we went from like 4 or 5 hits on these guys to 2. That's good. That's good. We're making a lot of progress. Progress is a good thing, usually. Unless you're progressing in the wrong direction. I'm trying to think of spears that we could grab, and one that just occurred to me is we could get... You know what? That guy's going to take way too long to kill. We'll kill him later. I might go for Ornstein's spear, or his lance, or whatever it's called. We'll see. We'll see what the stats are on it first. We need to get the large ember before we can make it to +6 on the partisan. That's okay, it's in the depths. We can get there now, in fact. I think. Right? No. Before the depths, we go down to that lower area that I can never quite remember what it's called. Lower on Deadberg, maybe? Let's head there now. And then we'll unlock that shortcut to the Firelink Shrine, where we may end up calling the episode there. What is attractive, guys? Well, let me tell you something. Here's something that's attractive to everybody, particularly women. Self-confidence. And self-deprecation is the opposite of self-confidence. Like I said, you don't always have to act like you're the man, you're in charge, you're James Bond, always know what's going on, you can defeat anybody, you can overcome any situation. No woman expects you to be perfect, obviously, but be as close as possible in many ways. We should have a more extensive episode where we discuss working out. Now, I don't want to get into the workout aspect too much here, but cardio is not going to be your main goal. As a man, you should be lifting. Lifting is really important. I think it's critical. I think it is one of the foundational things that every man should and can do to improve his situation and increase his value. It's probably the first thing you should focus on. And if not that, then maybe your diet, depending on how bad your diet is. But those two should really go hand in hand. Work on your diet and your physical fitness in terms of lifting. When you are stronger and look stronger, you feel better, you feel more confident, you feel your greater value. The goal here is not just to have greater value, to actually have real greater value, obviously, but also to feel it. Because when you feel the value that you have in you, you act like it. The same is true of a man, the same is true of a woman. And although you want to be careful how you do it, you don't want to come off as disingenuous or overly, what's the word for it? Complimentary. You want to also lift your woman up. Make sure she feels a sense of her own value. And this is something where maybe not everyone in the Red Pill community will be 100% on board. Maybe they think that you shouldn't necessarily try to lift her up and make her feel confident, because then that will increase the likelihood that she may want to leave. Let's tackle this Black Knight. I'm not in human form and I don't have any soft stock humanity to lose. Because what can happen is women can become really I'm losing the words for some of these things. Self-conscious, and they can feel like they're not worthy of your affections and time, and that's fine to a certain degree, but you don't want to use that as your primary factor in keeping a woman, because if she does ever feel more confident, okay, well, there you go, guys. Let's drink up here. Only good thing about Black Knights is they don't backstab. I don't think any of the Black Knights are even capable of backstabbing. Where are you at, buddy? You coming down, or are you just running back and forth? Okay, here he is. Draw him out into the open where we can fight well. Watch out, because he can get you too. You're not the only one that can attack through walls. He can attack through walls much better than you can. Woo! There we go. Alright, we got that. Now we're going to head back over here where we were previously. Awesome. Triple kill. I like it. That's my goal each and every time I run through here, is to triple kill those guys right there. Hellkite Drake is back. Would be nice to actually kill this Drake for once. There's an old tactic of getting a bow and arrow and a whole bunch, getting a bow and a whole bunch of arrows, and then shooting the Drake's tail until it breaks off, and then you get the dragons, or the Hellkite. Well, what is that thing called? The Dragon Sword? The Drake Sword. The Drake Sword. That's what it's called. It's an excellent sword. It doesn't scale, but it is great for the brief period of time in which you can use it. It's one of the most powerful weapons early on in the game. You can upgrade it to +5, I believe, with the Dragon Stones or Dragon Shards, whatever they're called. I don't use dragon weapons very often, but it would be a great idea to do that if you have a build where you're primarily boosting vitality, endurance, and maybe magic stats, but no other stats that really affect your weapon so much. If you didn't want to put any points into dexterity or strength any more than needed to wield the weapon, then that's a way to do it, is to go with the dragon weapon. It won't scale anyway, so it doesn't matter. I don't know if there's any weapon that allows you to hit that tail twice. You got to hit that tail. What are the lessons of the Manosphere? Okay, guys. We got a Titanite shard. That's nice. It's nice. We can use that for a shield or possibly some future armor pieces or current armor pieces, whatever we decide to wear in the end. Let's head down here and open up the shortcut and probably call the episode at that. So really, I guess this episode could have the subtitle, the second subtitle, so it already has a subtitle, The Manosphere, of self-confidence. And like I said, you don't always need to actually have a lot behind that self-confidence. You don't need to be Superman. You don't need to make $1 million. Because remember, when you're out there on the market, the dating market, the sexual marketplace, if you want to call it that, the intergender dynamics marketplace, you're not competing necessarily against the top CEOs or bodybuilders. You're competing against what you're competing against, and you're in whatever. So hang on, this takes a little bit of focus here. This is a great place where you can hold up your shield and swat these guys. I'm trying to think of how to get to that back way into the depths, and I think it's all the way at the end of this, isn't it? Darn it. I didn't really want to have to fight through this whole thing first. There we go. Okay, we should be able to kill these guys with this. It's a long weapon, so we should be able to get in there, and boom. Oh, can we? Yep, we can hit them twice. Good. Let's try an R2. Nah, maybe not. With another spear, the R2 would have worked, because it would have been long enough. And then back here, we get a twin humanity. Oh, here's the door. Wrong one. But I don't think we have the key for it, do we? No, that's fine. We don't really need anything from him anyway. Yeah, these guys can be tricky because of that fire. That fire has an incredible ability to stagger you. Stun lock even. Whoa! Only thing about the spear, if you're going to go unlocked, you better be pretty accurate with your attacks. Oh, I knew that was going to happen the moment I tried it. Alright, let's get some space between us. Estus up. And take him out. Awesome. Okay. Our twin humanities. Good to go. This episode, I felt like we didn't get as deep as some of the other episodes. We stayed a little superficial. Mainly focused on the thing about not self-deprecating and focusing on your self-confidence. And then building real reasons to have self-confidence, which is value. When you increase your value... Wow. Not really sure what the heck that was. It was funny, though. When you increase your value, you know your value's been increased. The mail breaker. And so does everyone else. Don't be afraid to increase your value. And if people fall off out of your life at that point, that's okay. That's not a big deal. You shouldn't worry about that. That's fine. Arguably, it's good. Because people of lower value are deciding that they don't want to be in your life anymore. Because they're lower value and you're higher value. So think of it that way. This may happen when you clean up your diet, and we may talk about food in a future episode. In fact, I think we definitely should. I'm going to write that down. Diet and nutrition. Oh, as I'm writing this down, I'm being attacked by a rabid dog. diet and nutrition, because I think there's a lot of misinformation on that. A lot of people out there think that the best diet is to eat lots of fruits and vegetables and avoid meat and all this and low fat, and no, no. You don't want to go low fat. You don't want to eat a ton of fruit because that's a lot of fruit sugar, fructose. Of course, vegetables are fine. They're great. Particularly potatoes. I love those. Not necessarily the most nutrition-packed vegetable, but you know what? I'm just not going to stop eating potatoes. When I went keto, that was one of the hardest things for me to give up, was potatoes. All right, we're going to make it back to the Firelink Shrine bonfire and call it a day at that. That guy, I think, can drop either a short bow or a long bow, but we have the... What do we have? We have one of the bows. I can't even remember which one it is. The longbow, so we're good. And this guy right here, for the Ornstein and Smil fight, I recommend picking up 2 charcoal pine resins. They're only 500. In fact, let's get 4. If you don't have enough souls for it right at that moment, you can come back to the merchant later, or go ahead and pop some souls in your inventory and buy them. I'd buy at least 2. Try to use 1 for the fight, and in case you die, you still have another one for the second fight. And after that, well, you're out of luck, I guess. This guy's worth killing each and every time. He at least is supposed to have the ability to drop a humanity. Although lately, I haven't been getting humanities from the rats, so I don't know if they've changed that or what. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'm gonna have a lot of enemies running after me and low health. Was low on stamina too. Let's see if I can hit this. I don't think I'm gonna get the bonfire before that. No, they already blocked it out. These guys will follow you all the way to the bonfire too, so something to be aware of. I remember the early days of having this game. I went to GameStop, and I've told the story before. I didn't know much about the game. I just read this article, and it just talked about how great it was and how they thought everyone should play it. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to go out and get it. Never played Demon's Souls, didn't know anything about the series, had never even seen video of it, just seen pictures. And I'm like, I'll try it. I tend to like RPGs. Glad I did. And not only that, but the GameStop I bought it at, there was somebody who had reserved the Collector's Edition 10 Collector's Edition and didn't pick it up. So he's like, hey, you want this? I'm like, no, I don't want to pay any extra. He's like, no, I'll just give it to you for the $60. I'm like, okay. So now I have the Collector's Edition. Never knew it would end up having any value to me. Thought it was just going to be a random Collector's Edition. Well, anyway, guys, that's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have comments, definitely leave them below. I do read them all. I try to comment and respond to some of them as I'm able to and as I feel like I should. If you haven't already, make sure to follow me on social media, Twitter, above all else. Subscribe here on my YouTube channel if you're not already subscribed. Like the video and all that good stuff. Remember, maintain your frame, guys, and I will see you in the next episode of Dark Souls Remastered, the Manosphere. Later.